Welcome to the Liberated Feminine podcast. I'm Lucy Lampy, your host, and in this episode, we're exploring the difference between dark feminine energy and the feminine shadow. I hear this question a lot from the divine feminine girlies, and I say that lightly in a sense of, we learn that the divine feminine is this love and light and softness and openness, receptivity kind of energy. And a lot of times when in that context we hear about the dark feminine, we think, oh, that is just the feminine wound. That's just when the feminine is in her trauma, in her wounding, in her shadow. And honey, let me tell you, that could not be further from the truth. Now, true dark feminine energy will cut through the bullshit of the wounded feminine. Now, when the dark feminine works you to reclaim your power, she essentially says, all of you is welcome here. All of your emotions, your rage, your grief, your feeling of it's not fucking fair, your intensity, your bigness, the fullness of who you are, she welcomes all of that. And then she says, all right, now let's clean up house. This is in service to fear instead of love. This is in service to your wounded ego instead of to your soul purpose. This right here is following scarcity and lack instead of the abundance that you know that you are. So my child, let me help you to refine that. Let's purify that of the fear and the distortions and the illusions and the delusions. Okay? That is what the dark feminine does. You think of the goddess Kali cutting off the head of a man. This is symbolic for cutting off the head of any fear that is distracting you, that is distorting your perception of reality and truth. And one of the most frustrating and annoying parts of hearing about dark feminine energy as a distorted feminine energy is that people will use dark feminine as an excuse to just be a vile, hateful person. Just gonna say it, just flat out. Your dark feminine is no reason to be abusive. First of all, in relationships, I have seen this and I have been there myself. I have been there, I have done it. I have written the fucking script of the play, okay? Of how to be the abuser emotionally in a relationship, psychologically, and call it, oh, I'm just being emotionally real and raw and honest. This is my dark feminine. No, honey, that is your feminine shadow. That is your wound. Now, the shadow, the wound of the feminine, acts out to compensate for what she has not yet reclaimed. The dark feminine comes in and says, you get to own that. You get to bring that into the fold of the wholeness of who you are. Any part of you that has been exiled, rejected, and cast into that feminine shadow, you get to reclaim. So essentially, think of it this way. The feminine shadow is the collective consciousness of everything that has been exiled and is being expressed through the wound. The dark feminine energy, the mystery, the void, the everything and the nothingness. She's like the fertile soil that you can root deeply into. Your soul will never be afraid of the dark feminine, only your ego. Now, the dark feminine will expose to you the ways that you are operating from the shadow, from the wound. No, self-pitying little girl energy. Welcome here. And dark feminine energy is about more than even just, cutting through the distortions and the fear and all that stuff. But also, it is how you access this deeper wisdom and knowing in yourself. What some would call the sacred no, that boundary. The directness, the decisiveness, not in a masculine way that is cutting through and penetrating into something, or a space, a situation, but in a way that is just you being. Embodied in your dark feminine is its own boundary. There's something about a woman who embodies that energy that it's like, oh, you don't fuck with her. That you can't tell her nothing. You cannot come at her with your bullshit. No, you don't fuck with that chick, because she has such a potent frequency emitting from her presence of sovereignty. She knows what she wants, she knows what she doesn't want, and this doesn't mean that she's walking around all jagged and sharp towards everyone, but she has that ability to access this part of herself when she needs to. And because she has access to that and she has accepted that and integrated that into the whole of who she is, she gets to be soft. In general, in life, she gets to choose to be soft because she has a deep self-trust that if or when she needs to access her fire, her fierceness, her primal essence, she can and she will. So when someone is in their feminine shadow, in their feminine wound, they will overcompensate this. They will blame, they will attack someone's character, they will make it about basically outsourcing their power. When someone in their true dark feminine will be able to experience a same situation, and in her beingness, in her deeper power and knowing and womb wisdom, will handle the situation with a completely different consciousness and be able to remain softer in her heart through it. She won't have to armor up her heart and close off to love. But she's able to maintain her openness to the flow of love itself while holding firm a boundary towards a specific person or situation or something that she's taking a stand for. She knows how to wield her fire. The immature feminine, she will just be burning out all over the place. Again, I have used that in painful ways. The excuse of, well, this is just my real, raw, honest truth. I'm just fiery. Don't tell me I'm not too much. Fuck you if you tell me that I'm too much, because I'm not, and I know that I'm not. And that is the immature feminine. And honey, again, there's nothing, we're not demonizing this. We're not making this bad. This is a part of the arc of coming into this deeper dark feminine consciousness, okay? So we're not making anyone wrong for experiencing this. I have been there. I spent some years in that place. It took me, I was there for a hot second, okay? Before realizing, okay, actually, there is a deeper embodied wisdom beneath the crying out, the tantrum. Behind the tantrum, look there. And this is why in my courses and in my coaching and in my events, I bring it back time and time again to creating space for your fire, creating space for your distortions to come out, creating space for all of the stories, all of the lies that your fear is telling you to be named, for all of your fears to be exposed. This is such an important step because we can't skip that and just go straight to, well, no, I'm good. I'm not triggered. I'm not bothered by that. Let yourself be bothered. The goal is not to be unbothered. The goal is to be real. And in that realness, you let the dark feminine frequency, the dark goddess herself, the one that encompasses all of the dark goddesses and archetypes that we can possibly come to know, let her meet you at your altar of love. For me, this looks like, I literally have a space that has an altar, right? Then I have my dance. My pole is another altar of love. My self-pleasure practice is an altar of love. Space, basically, where you can bring the fullness, the wholeness of who you are and say, show me where I am holding on to my fear. Show me where I am only seeing the distortion. Show me where I am identifying with the wound instead of remembering the power beneath it. And that is how you work with dark feminine energy. Essentially, the feminine shadow is what happens when a woman loses access to her power. And the dark feminine is what is embodied when she reclaims it. Now, there is so much more that can be shared about this, but I'll leave it at this much for now. And if you want to work with dark feminine energy more intimately, check out my Dark Feminine Codes self-paced course. You can start anytime, get lifetime access. So I'm going to include that link in the show notes. And to go even deeper, if you see this in time, on November 10th, 2025, I am opening the Temple of Lilith for 6 weeks. And this is a space where we're going to go deeper with specifically the frequency and consciousness of sovereign Lilith. So again, more details on that as well in the show notes. And in the meantime, here's to liberating your wild feminine heart.